All right, good morning guys, and welcome to chapter 2 of the series. Now, I've decided to shoot this video in 360 mode again, only because I want to use every video as an opportunity to teach you two aspects of production. The first aspect is the setup. Okay, this would be a typical setup of a sit-down interview style or a broadcaster style or a news style scenario. And you can use the 360 camera view to rotate to see what is involved. Okay, the A camera, which is in front of you, is recording me using the front camera. Now, if you've watched the first chapter, I said that we should shoot ourselves with the selfie camera. Correct? Yes. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, in this scenario, I want to use the front camera because I want you to see the difference in quality, the difference in resolution, if there is any, and also the control. All right. Now, my camera is the Redmi Note 9. It's over here. I've placed it in front for you to see. And we're going to talk a little bit about this camera and why I like this camera. Now, the reason why I did that is because I was thinking about the best way to explain camera functions and what is the best camera function to you. And there are just too many camera models out there. Your Huawei, Oppo, Pixel, Google Pixel, Apple. I could go on Samsung. I could go on and on. But instead, I'm going to tell you why I like this camera, why I chose this camera, and hopefully this will help you decide whether your camera or your phone is good enough. All right. So let me explain what's happening. We're in 360-degree mode. And at the end of the explanation, after I explain all this, I am going to dim the 360 view. And I'm going to pop up a screen over here on the right-hand side, my right, your left, where camera A will be displayed. So please feel free to rotate to that view at the end of my explanation. Okay, so let's begin. Now, if you look around, you will see that I am seated at a comfortable desk. All right, the desk is large. Please use a large desk. The reason for that is because you want to keep the front of you empty. All right, this is where all the action is happening. Okay, I've also placed some masking tape on the table. I've got one piece here, I've got one piece here, and I even have two pieces in front. Okay, now the reason for that is because I can show you stuff, and when I'm done, I can put it back in the exact same place and it looks presentable. These two masking tapes, on the other hand, remind me that I mustn't do this because you can't see me anymore. It reminds me to sit perfectly still and to address the camera. Now, there are two cameras here and I don't know which one to focus on. Well, that's a mistake. Instead, you need to decide which camera has the right function in terms of framing. This camera, A camera, is shooting my frontal view. So if I'm addressing you, if I'm talking to you and I want to engage you, this is the camera I look at. I ignore the other one. But this first segment of the video is for 360. So I'm going to ignore the A camera and I'm going to focus on the 360 camera instead. Okay, guys? So you're going to see my eyes darting left and right. And that is essentially a multi-camera production problem. That's right, folks. This is called a multi-camera production. Okay? Now, audio is being recorded to the A camera and only the A camera. Okay? You do not need to put microphones for every single camera in your production. You just need to choose one, and that is usually the A camera, the main camera. Okay. Let's get down to the environment. Look at the background. I have chosen a curtain cloth with a light. Okay? You will notice that the curtain cloth has a pattern, has a texture on it, and that is fine as long as the pattern is repetitious. In other words, it must look very common, very monotonous, very uniform. That's the word I'm looking for. All right? If I shoot against a background that is moving, that has people, that is full of activity, your audience is going to get distracted. All right? So try to find a background that is plain, static, not moving, and you can throw a light onto the background just to light it up. If you don't want the rear light, it's perfectly fine. On my left, or your right, which is over there, I have the big diffusion light source. And that is the key light, okay? In film production, there's a lighting scenario called a 3-point lighting system. And a 3-point lighting system refers to a key light, which is your main light, a fill light, which is the second light, and the rim light, which is the background light, the light that lights the background of the object. Now, the reason why they've invented this lighting scenario is because it gives us the most depth. All right, my face now looks like a 3-dimensional object. Okay, guys? Do you need to follow this? The answer is yes if you want, no if you don't want. It does not matter. Remember, in media production, there is no right and wrong, just what is nice and what is not so nice. All right, so the key light can have any brightness you want, you decide, but the fill light should be half of the key. It should not have the same intensity as this light. If you do, then you're going to get a very flat lighting. It's going to look like TV3 news station. Okay? Again, not wrong, but if that's what you want, fine. I don't want that. I want depth. I want a little bit of 3-dimensional play involved. Okay? Now, to demonstrate this lighting scenario even further, I'm going to show you a 2-point light, which is basically the key and the back. I'm going to turn off the fill light. There you go. As you can see, it's not wrong. It's just more dramatic, right? Now, if this is the mood that you want, if your scene or your video requires this kind of mood, by all means, go for it. Okay? I want that light on simply because I need to showcase products. And this product is on the right-hand side of the frame. So I'm going to go back and turn that on so you can see the difference. And there you go. We are now lit properly again. You will also notice that I am not moving the chair around, okay? Because if I move the chair, I could move off the frame. Now, bear in mind, guys, that I can't see what is happening on the A camera. You can see what is happening on the A camera because you are looking straight at it. All right? So, if I'm off the frame, if my head is chopped off, please excuse me. Like I said, I don't really know what is happening. Slightly later on in the series, I will show you a way of how I can connect my handphone to a separate display device, okay? And will then be able to see myself and perform better. All right, thank you very much. That's the 360-degree explanation done. I am now dimming this video. Please have a look over here. See ya. All right, let's go. Take a bit of a break, breather, prepare ourselves. Start with a smile. Look at the lens. It's a hard thing to do. Start with a smile and then begin. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Chapter 2. Today we're going to talk about handphones, or rather what makes a good handphone for video production. Now, I thought long and hard on how to do this. And I was thinking that maybe I want to go into the technical details and in-depth review of all the specifications. And it's not necessary. All right. Now, the reason why it's not necessary is because there are so many handphone models out there that it'll take forever for me to explain everything. Okay? Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you my handphone. This handphone that is recording us right now is the Redmi Note 9. Why did I choose this? What makes it special? I'm going to tell you right now. Now, I'm going to pause for a while because I'm going to do my logo and music sequence. It's coming in now. And we are done. Okay, guys, so Redmi Note 9. Now, I chose the Redmi Note series of phones because I've had very, very good experience with all of these phones. Okay, I've been using the Note series now for over 10 years, since the very beginning, and their phones have not died on me. Okay, when I say not died, that means I've used the phones day in and day out for video, for audio, for work, for emails, for correspondence, continuously for 6 years. That's right, folks, my phones last 6 years. All right. In fact, the phone that is recording the 360 view right now is my original Redmi from those 6 years, making it, to this day, a 9-year-old phone. Of course, I changed this recently, about 2 years. Okay. So the point here is, how do we decide what is a good phone? I'm going to give you some tips. Hopefully you can make your own choices, you can make your own decisions, and hopefully that the camera that you have or the phone that you have will serve you well. Option number 1, camera. Now, camera phones have 2 cameras. One is the front-facing camera, another one is the back-facing camera. Okay? And the front-facing camera is usually the one that manufacturers push. That's the one that they sell. All right? And they normally sell it in terms of megapixel. The higher the megapixel, the better the camera. Now, that's for consumers. That's for you guys to say, oh, my phone is better than yours. That's not the case. Okay? It makes no difference to handphone producers, because a lot of your footage is not going to end up in that realm. You're not going to end up shooting 4K resolution videos. Okay? And to give you an example, this phone has a 49 or 46 megapixel camera. Okay? Big photos. You can take big photos. But in terms of video, it can only shoot HD. I can't shoot 4K, I can't shoot 6K, I can't shoot anything else. All right? And that is a blessing, to be honest, because if you shoot 4K videos, okay, by the way, guys, let me just recap what 4K means. All right? On your phone, you can shoot videos in different formats. Okay? Now, you've got HD resolution, full HD resolution, 4K resolution, 8K, etc., etc., etc. Basically, what it means is the size of your video frame. Okay? If you're shooting HD resolution, your frame will be about this big, all right? And these are the resolutions, the size of the frame. Full HD will be bigger, 2K will be bigger, 4K will be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All right? Now, bigger is good for me. All right? Like I said, I'm a video producer. I do this professionally. I can take the big video files and do wonderful things with it. But if you're using your handphone to edit video, the bigger the file, the faster your phone will die. It's not powerful enough to edit 4K video resolutions. Okay? In fact, your phone is not powerful enough to edit even full HD video. To my standards, of course. To your standards, not a problem. Because all you are doing is chopping video up, rearranging the video, and putting titles. Maybe a few graphics, all right? Some photos and all that. Video producers, professionals on the other hand, we don't do that. We do a lot of more complex stuff, things which a handphone cannot do. Okay? So what we use a handphone for is just for acquisition. In other words, we just shoot video, we then extract the video out and send it to the laptop. Okay, guys? All right, so point number 1, which camera has the best handphone lens and system? The answer is it does not matter. It's all the same. No, literally, it's all the same. All right? All your camera modules in mid-level phones are made by the same vendor, by the same company. They are outsourced. Huawei, Oppo, Realme, Redmi, all of the camera modules are outsourced to external vendors. How do I know this? I used to shoot videos for these vendors. I used to walk in their production floor and I could see, hey, these are all different camera modules. And the engineers told me that they developed these for these guys, but they are all based on the same technology. So they have the same quality, the same standards. All right? Now, the difference between one camera and the other is the software, the camera application. All right? Some camera apps would have more functions, some camera apps will have less. Now, that is not an issue, okay, guys? Because I'm going to introduce you to a camera app that you can download and turn your camera into a pretty good semi-professional camera. Okay? So don't worry about it. Don't worry if you have an Oppo or if you have a Huawei or if you have a Realme. As long as you can shoot HD resolution. Not full HD, not 4K, HD. 1280 by 720 pixels, you are fine. Okay, guys? Let's keep it like that. Which means that the majority of you who have bought a handphone in the past 5 years are safe. By the way, guys, I'm going to take a pause right now and I am going to stop the 360 camera because it's still rolling. I forgot to turn it off. All right, I am back. Okay, so that is the camera sorted. There's really nothing much that you need to talk about. Oh yes, there is. The selfie camera. Remember I told you that you need the selfie camera to see yourself, to shoot yourself? All right. What do? Do we find a selfie camera with a high resolution? Yes. But more importantly, we should find a selfie camera that allows us to control the settings manually. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't do it, and a lot of handphones don't allow you to set the selfie camera manually. And that is fine. Okay, like I said, we are shooting static shots like this. We are not moving around, the lights are not moving around. Not a problem. Okay, so don't panic so much. Like I said, if you have a 5-year-old camera or less, you should be fine. The next thing that we want to consider is the battery. All right, so if you look at my phone, or if you look at your phone, the packaging, you will find something that tells you what is the battery rating. Now, battery ratings are in mAh. All right, I don't know whether I got space on the right, left. Yeah, I'll do it on the right. Okay, mAh or milliamp hour. Now, mAh refers to the amount of power that can be produced by the battery for 1 hour consistently. Okay, this phone has a 5,100, I think, milliamp hour battery, which is pretty darn high. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically, it means that this battery in my phone can power my phone for longer, and it can also power more electronic components as well. That's right, folks. Just by looking at your battery, you can tell if your phone is powerful. All right? So as a general rule, I only buy phones that have a minimum of 4,000 milliamp hours. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot shoot with your phone. Your phone may have 3,000 milliamp hours. It may have 2,000 milliamp hours. You can still shoot. Not a problem. The only difference is you will run out of battery faster than me. With this phone, I can actually leave the camera recording for hours. Hours, guys. The longest I've ever shot with this was 2.5 hours. Okay? In fact, the only reason I stopped recording with this camera was because it was getting hot. Yeah, it gets hot. Okay? So, if you have an older camera and it's only 2,000 milliamp hours, all you need to do is get a power bank, run your USB charging cable to the phone, press record, and jalan. Okay? Please use a power bank. Do not plug your phone into the power socket using the adapter. All right? If anything goes wrong, if there's a short, your phone will fry. Don't do that. Power bank is safer. If anything happens, well, nothing's going to happen because power banks don't overload. The wall socket or the wall adapter, on the other hand, can. All right, so get a power bank. A power bank is also beneficial to you because if you decide to go and shoot in the canteen, by the car park, or outdoors, and you run out of battery, yeah, you just plug in the power bank. Convenient? All right. Power banks can be got for 39 ringgit. I just bought one recently from a shop in Tesco, near Tesco. 39 ringgit for a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. I bought 4. Fantastic. It now powers all my devices for mobile. Okay? All right, so to recap, we've got the camera setting that you want to do. This is the minimum camera setting, all right? 720p, we call it 720p. We have the battery, all right? The philosophy here is to get as big a battery as you can, all right? What's the third one? Many people told me that the processor is important. That's right, folks, your phone has a processor, just like a laptop. And it's important because the faster the processor, the more powerful the processor, the more you can do, right? Right. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because number one, you're not going to be doing a lot of stuff with your handphones. All right. You're not going to be able to match a PC or a laptop. All right. It's a handphone, guys. Your screen is so small, you can't do stuff with it. All right. Instead, let's apply some common sense and some logic. If your handphone can shoot HD and it can display the file, your processor is more than powerful. Okay, guys? Simple as that. All right? So don't worry about processor. Do not listen to people who say this processor Kirin is better than this. It doesn't matter. Just test the phone. Press record, play it back. If it plays back, you can scrub. Scrub means move left and right. Fine. Move on. Let's discuss the most important thing in a handphone for you, and that is storage. Guys, video files are incredibly, incredibly huge. All right? We're not talking of PowerPoint size. We're not talking of hundreds of megabytes. We're talking in terms of hundreds of gigabytes. That's right, gigabytes. Okay? You shoot a 1 hour video, your phone is literally going to run out of space. Okay? So, let's talk about memory and what is good memory. Unfortunately for phones, the memory structure, the architecture is very similar to laptops. You have two main memory categories. The first memory category is RAM. RAM stands for random access memory, and it is usually a small amount. Usually it's either 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8 gigabytes of RAM. Then you have a second number, all right, which they call ROM, or read-only memory. I think that's a wrong phrase. I don't think you should call it read-only memory because in computing terms, yeah, that's wrong. I call it storage, internal storage, all right? And that second number is usually in terms of 16, 32, 64, or 128 gigabytes. Okay, guys? Multiples of 16. Okay? So what are these two numbers? Well, the RAM is our brain now. Okay? In order for me to work, in order for me to do something, let's say if I'm cooking something, my brain has to focus on the now. All right? If I have a 2 gigabyte RAM, I can't remember complex menus. So my limitation here is it's a bit slow. All right? If I need more information, I have to go back to my storage, take some information, process it, and then cook. Now, what if I have more RAM? What if I have 4 gigabytes of RAM? I don't need to access the storage so much. I take whatever I want, put it here, use it, and then cook. Can you understand that metaphor? Okay. Now, with that said, is 2 gigabytes of RAM better than 4 gigabytes? No. More is always better. All right? My phone, because I bought the phone for video function, My phone has 4 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know if you can see it. There. 4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of internal storage. 128. Remember, guys, I told you video is a very big format, right? Right. So 4 gigabytes, 128, perfect combination in my opinion. All right. 4 gigabytes of RAM means my phone doesn't hang so much. I can switch between applications smoothly. All right. And I can edit videos pretty comfortably. If you have a phone that has 2 gigabytes of RAM, you can do the same thing, guys. I'm not saying you can't. But it will be slightly slow. Your experience will be slightly slow and you are going to get very irritated, especially if you are used to editing with a laptop. All right? My phone is almost as fast as my laptop in terms of simple editing. All right? But it's got 4 gigs of RAM. So, what's my recommendation? Try to get a phone with as much RAM as you can afford. More RAM, more expensive. It's as simple as that. Okay, guys? Now, this phone, I paid $699 if I'm not mistaken. Today, it is now $649. The price has dropped. Okay, simply because I think there's a new Note model out. This has become a little bit cheaper. If you can find new old stock, Redmi Note 8, buy. All right, it will be much less than 600. It's still a fantastic phone, and if you find some, please tell me because I will be buying the rest of the stock. Which brings me to my next piece of advice. Never ever buy the latest model of anything. All right? It will usually have bugs, it will usually have issues, and the company takes time to fix those issues. Most of these issues are software or firmware issues. Instead, I like to buy one generation back models. The company has already investigated all the problems. They've already put out the latest software, the latest firmware updates, and it will work beautifully. All right? All right, so let's recap. We've got camera video frame size or the camera resolution. All right, all we want is 720p. We have battery. All right, you want as big a battery as possible. If you don't have a big battery, it's also fine. You get a power bank. That's cool. And we have the third option. Well, I've bypassed processor because I don't think it's an important issue. All right. The third option is your RAM. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is the most important thing to a wonderful phone experience. You've got RAM and you've got ROM or internal storage. Now, here's the wonderful part. A lot of these phones have the ability to use external micro SD cards. That's right, folks. You can buy a micro SD card, stick it into your phone, and your phone will have additional storage. So what do you think I did with my phone? That's right. I've added another 128 to my phone as well. Okay? Now the reason for that is because I use my phone for work. I use my phone to connect to my drone. I use my phone to video conference. I use my phone to edit simple videos, to type documents, to do PowerPoints. And I use my phone for customer and client meetings. Okay? My phone is like my laptop, only smaller. All right? When I go on holidays, when I go on tours, when I travel around the world, I only take my phone sometimes. Okay, I don't take a camera, I don't take anything. I have a phone gimbal, I put the phone in the gimbal and I shoot stuff. And a lot of that footage I've actually sold. I've actually put on all the video sites and some of them have been quite popular. Okay, guys? So don't panic if you don't have all the features that I just mentioned. Don't panic if you don't have the processor. You can work with what you have, but you need to know the limitations and how to go around it. Next, what size phone do I want? By the way, guys, I am not sure if I am still recording, so I'm just going to go to the other side and have a look. Yes, I'm still recording. Awesome. Wow, 30 minutes. All right, I'm going to have to bring this to a stop. What size phone do I want? The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest. Remember, you're not using your phone as a camera. You want to use your phone as an editing station. In other words, you're going to need to move around. You're going to need to copy and paste. You're going to need to chop this, move this here, move this there. If your phone is this tiny and you've got gigantic monster fingers like me, you'll never be able to do it. And ladies, all of you have got fingernails. Have you considered that? Have you tried editing a video with your fingernails? It'll never work. You need to cut your fingernails. What's my advice, ladies and gentlemen? Use a laptop. We all have laptops. You have laptops. We just don't know how to get the video from the phone to the laptop. So here's the next feature. USB connectivity, or OTG functionality. That's right, OTG. Now, what is OTG? OTG means that your phone is now able to accept thumb drive. You can buy a thumb drive with a small micro or USB-C port. I'll put a picture in the description. And if your phone has OTG functionality, you can take that, stick it into your phone, copy the files out, take the file, stick it into your laptop. Ta-da! Hey, I just did the Microsoft Windows sound. Okay? That is how pros do it. I recommend that you do. The reason for that is simple. Again, like I said, your phone is this small. I can show you how to edit, no problem. You're not going to like the experience. Okay? Now, I've been doing editing for decades. Guys, I've been editing digital video before it was invented, okay? I'm that old. I'm an expert. I know the software in and out. I know the techniques in and out. And I still find editing on a phone a problem. Imagine what you are going to face. Half of you are going to be looking for things. Half of you are going to be searching for features. You're going to get so irritated. Don't worry. Relax. Use a laptop. All right. The good thing is, I am going to teach all this to you in this 10-part series. Okay, so you will get maximum amount of information. Okay, guys? But here's another option for you. For those of us who have fat fingers, for those of us who have long fingernails, we can use a tablet. That's right, folks. 10-inch Big Mama Huawei, Oppo, I don't know what tablets are there, Samsung. All right? Suddenly, your editing experience becomes beautiful. You've got a big screen, you can touch, even fatty fingers like mine, no problem. Most importantly, a lot of tablets today come with a stylus, pen. Yeah, we can now draw, we can illustrate, we can do all of these things, and it makes our life so much more wonderful. All right? Here's the problem. A lot of you just buy a tablet and sometimes don't buy a phone. Okay, it's no problem. All it means is that you are now going to have to walk around holding a tablet like this and shooting your video. Right? Your arms are going to break. That's number one. Number two, tablet batteries don't last. They cannot last as long as a handphone. They have to do more work. Number three, and the most important one, you cannot put a tablet on a light stand. All right? You can't mount a tablet on a tripod. It's going to shake. And camera manufacturers don't sell all these fancy accessories. That's right. Tablets were not designed for shooting. They are great for editing, but they are lousy for shooting. Okay, guys? All right, so let's recap everything before I stop this video. Point number one, pay attention to your resolution. That's the only thing that you need to focus on. Ignore all the other facts like what lens they have, this, that, HDR, vivid mode. Yeah, that's just marketing strategy. We are not going to use that. It's not relevant. Just focus on HD or Full HD. That's it. Okay? Point number 2. What is point number 2? RAM. Or is it battery? Battery. Get a big battery, guys. I don't know how to explain this any further. If you already have a phone and you don't have the battery space, go buy a power bank. Okay? Point number 3, processor. There's nothing you can do, guys. If you like this phone and you've got the RAM, the processor is stuck. You can't change the processor. If you change the processor, it's basically changing the phone. Right? Right. So ignore the processor. If your phone can record video and play it back, the processor is fine. Most importantly, RAM, guys. RAM, memory, storage space. You want to get the best experience from your phone, spend a little bit more money and get more RAM. What is the minimum? 2 is the minimum. Anything less than that, don't bother. Your phone is you're gonna get irritated. 4, sweet spot. 3, okay. 8 or 6, fantastic. But then again, like I said, the more RAM you have, the more expensive the camera. So you need to decide on what you want. Okay? Storage space. Always get as much storage space that you can afford. If you can afford 128, I recommend getting a 128. If you cannot, get a 64. That's fine. Make sure that you are able to insert a micro SD card into the phone. Some phones don't accept micro SD. Be careful. Huh? Some phones can only have what you like, internal memory. RAM 2 gig, internal memory 32, no micro SD. Steer clear from those phones. You want the micro SD function. Okay? That is going to save your life in terms of video production, in terms of photo production, and even in terms of data backup. Let's say you want to back up your data, the micro SD card can be transferred to another phone. Okay? OTG cable. All right? If your phone supports OTG, fantastic. You can now copy video files out and send it to your laptop or to a tablet or to another phone. No problem. All right? Last but not least, size of the screen. Bigger is always better. All right? Remember, you're doing editing. Okay? Now, what if you don't want to do editing? What if I want to do editing on a laptop? Then the size becomes irrelevant. Yes? No. You still want a big screen because if you're shooting outdoors and you have a small screen, you can't see. By the way, guys, when we shoot video, this is how I hold the camera. All right? I do not do selfie mode. This is fail. I do not hold one hand like this. Also fail, amateur hour. I use 2 hands, I cup it, and I use the palm of my hand to shield the light. Got it? Now, if your screen is small, you're going to be looking at the phone like this. We don't want to do that. We want the phone to be slightly further away. So, a bigger screen is always preferred. 6.5 inches, beautiful for an old guy like me with bad eyesight. Okay? Commonplace, you can find it everywhere. All the brands have it. Huawei, Oppo, Redmi. Give it a shot, guys. I hope this has been helpful with allowing you to decide which phone you want to get. There is no right and wrong. You want to get an expensive $2,000 phone? Go ahead. The Redmi is medium range. It's about $699, like I said, 6 something. And it has served me well so far, and I absolutely love it. I also have friends who have used Oppo, Huawei, and Vivo. Vivo. All right? And they don't have issues as well. So the model is not as relevant as the features that you want. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. Again, this video will have open comments. So ask questions. If you have some advice about your phone, all right? Ask away. If you have a demonstration, if you think that your phone has a feature that is unique, please tell me. I'm interested to learn as well. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon for Chapter 3. Adios.